Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is reclaiming and empowering African American youth through interactive ministry. And we're fortunate to have with us to talk about ways that might be used to empower and reclaim African American youth through interactive ministry, Pastor KWalker, as well as Reverend Campbell and Reverend Williams1. And of course, what we'd like to do during this first segment is to have the three of you give us some statements in reference to your background, your education, and your experiences. And we'll start with you, Reverend, since Pastor Walker, since you are responsible in a real sense for bringing us all together here this morning to talk about how we might be able to reclaim and empower our young people through the work of ministry. And so let's start off by giving us a few statements in reference to you, and then Brother Campbell will do the same, and Williams1 will do the same. And by that time, we'll be out of this first segment, and we'll be able to get into the second segment of the show itself.
Well, Dr. Haney, first of all, Pastor KWalker, born right here in Nashville, Tennessee. I want to thank you once again for your show, because your show gives a voice to the voiceless in a lot of situations, and brings things to the surface that we need to know and talk about and understand and move forward in life. Born, like I said, born here in Nashville, Tennessee, educated in the public school system up until a point where I got kicked out. I ended up going into the United States Navy, stayed there for a short period of time, was strung out on drugs for many years of my life, 17 plus years of my life, ended up incarcerated in Tennessee State Prison System for about a period of 4 years there, and overall incarceration, got locked up, got out, went back. Did some studies at Tennessee State University prior to getting incarcerated, after coming out of the Navy, getting the GED through OIC, and did some college courses in prison through Trevecca East Campus Prison Program before my boy Reagan got in office and destroyed all of that, and took it away. But anyway, never had a degree in anything, Dr. Haney, but just a measure of knowledge, man, just common everyday experiences in life.
Very good. And Reverend Campbell, what about your situation, background, some statements in reference to who you are and why you're here?
I've been born here in Nashville, Tennessee, went through the public school system, graduated from McGavick High School, went to Austin Peay College to play football, and messed up my college career football because I wanted to sell drugs. I wound up in jail, went to jail for that, got out, joined a gang, ex-gang member, been pastor in Mount Carmel Missionary Baptist Church now in North Nashville for about 9 years now.
Very good. Reverend Williams?
I was born here in Nashville, Tennessee, in the East Nashville area. I was raised troubled teen, bounced from my father and mother, and pretty much got involved with a lot of other young adults that was into crime, and my family's pretty crime knit, so I just got on the wrong foot, got out, and got in trouble at 19. Excuse me, went to prison at 19 till I was 30, but in prison is where I met God and started to reform, and went to school and went to college, and God just called me to ministry, preferably youth, and after I was released, I was connected with these great men of God, and we've just been involved with the community, and just being used to change what we know as a Nashville community.
You know, Pastor Walker, I think that the three of you sort of represent an effort to do something to keep other young people from following your footsteps in a real sense, and how they might be able to overcome. Yeah. Because all three of you represent persons that have had their problems, but you've been able to work through that and come out and have very, very successful and very, very important lives. And so I appreciate you bringing everybody by this morning so that we could talk about this, and so that young people could see and could hear from individuals who've been there. You see, I don't think that there's anything more important. So we've got about a minute before we have our first commercial break. Why don't you make some statements in reference to who you have here?
Well, I think what binds us together is the common denominator is God. I mean, the power of God that enabled us. We've all been in the fire, you know. We're not here with degrees in social psychology or anything like that, but we're here because we've experienced a lot of the negativity in life. We felt basically fell victim to a system that was designed to capture us. But we got captured in that system, experienced that system, overcame that system through the power of God, and now we're here now to talk about how to help others to overcome.
Okay, look, we're going to take this first commercial break, and we're going to be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. Campbell, and by that time we'll be almost down to that last 8 minutes. I'm going to let you close us out. Mm-hmm. So you take about 3 minutes. You take about 3 minutes. You know, talk about whatever you want to talk about that falls within reclaiming and empowering African American youth, and we'll let you close it out. You know, last 2 minutes. I want to take about 3 minutes. You see, and then we'll be able to do 8 minutes. At least 3 minutes with you. 3 minutes with you. 2 minutes. We'll let you sort of wrap them up, and then I'll end it, then we'll come back for a 10-minute segment, and then we'll start back again. Okay? Okay.
All right, ready out here. 1 minute.
This is an 8-minute segment here. So.
Thirty seconds.
Good. Thank you, and welcome back to the second segment of the show for today. The topic is reclaiming African American youth, empowering and reclaiming African American youth through interactive ministry. And we have 3 ministers to talk about how we might be able to reclaim some of our young people, and how we might be able to get them started and empower them to understand who they are and the power that they have. And we're with Pastor Walker, Reverend Campbell, and Reverend Williams. And so let's start off, Brother Williams, by having you to make some statements in reference to how you see this whole issue of how we might be able to reclaim and empower young people to come back into society and have more influence, more positive influence.
Thank you, Dr. Haney. One thing I see is that we all have our individual fires that we're lighting, everybody having something going on. But what I don't see a lot is that we'll all band together and create the biggest fire we can to combat what we see going on in our communities. And Pastor Walker and Pastor Campbell and myself and some other ministries have really have taken on this this demonic force that has really captivated our youth. And a lot of it, we can pull out a lot of culprits, but I think one main thing is that we're doing a lot of talking and less action. And I know there are people that are afraid because of what is taking place, what has been perpetuated through news and various media outlets. I mean, now that we have Facebooks and all of these things, that it's being magnified, and I think people are afraid. But what we have to understand is that as a community, if we're going to reclaim and empower our youth, you can't allow just the pastors to do the reclaiming or the empowering. We have to rise as a community. We all have to stick together, and I think that even when we're involved in ministry, we have to have somebody to challenge us and charge us in our walk or in our work to regain them. And so what we have now is that we are coming together. We have an organization, like we started a gang. We're getting active. We're getting proactive. Jesus didn't just teach in the synagogue nor the temple. His ministry was mainly, in the community or out in the wilderness amongst the people. And if we're going to reclaim them, if we're going to empower them, we must do it on their ground. We must go to where they are and not expect them to come over to where we are. So there's various things that we're doing to impact these youth. And gang is one of them. Gentlemen are not gangsters. We've went into the juvenile detention center, and we've got approved by the juvenile court judge, and the gang unit brings in those that are on probation through mandate to take our program, and we have a curriculum set up to where we teach them that they're not just gangsters. They're not that at all. They're gentlemen, that have a disguise because of what society has placed on them. They've taken on that disguise, and they think it as reality. And we're showing them who they are. We're giving them their true identity, and we're pairing them with other entities to help them to change their life.
Brother Campbell.
Yes, sir. Like Reverend Williams was saying, we all are a piece of the puzzle. And until we realize where there's unity, there's strength, I think it'll always be a less number of youth that's being impacted than a greater number. We need to learn how to put our indifference aside, worrying about whose name on the marquee or who started it, and just band together. But to reclaim the youth, we got to learn how to teach them how to have a different mindset. Even our mindset need to be different. Watching the media and how they portray our youth is only one way to view it, and it changes our mindset on how we deal with them. When I look at a lot of people that talk about the youth, about their pants is too low, or you can't tell them nothing, they ain't gonna listen anyway. But our mindset must be changed in order to help reclaim or change their mindset. And that's one thing about the organization we got, Gang. We have a C curriculum that we're teaching them, and we start off with the first week of classification. And what we want to do is ask those young men, ask these youth today, what do you classify yourself as? Because it all goes back to what they think about themselves. And not only what do you classify yourself as, but what does society classify you as? And then not only society, but what does the judicial system classify you as? Because if the judicial system and society see you one way and you see yourself another,